So we're going to chase a few live baits for chasing kingies today. We're going to hit a little gully over here. Hopefully we'll get a few prawn. You might get a few mullet, herring, stuff like that. But we've had a fair bit of rain, so hopefully with the water starting to clear, we should see a few prawn in these gullies. So here we go and chase a few. So there's plenty of prawn there. Just back her up, brother. So when you're chasing prawn, if you flush your net like that, it creates a funnel. I'll come up to the top of the funnel. There's plenty of prawn there. Perfect bait prawn, ready for the king. So starter baits. So that's your average banana prawn, just normal banana prawn, good for kingies. And that's your shrimp or your cherubim, what they call saltwater shrimp. And they're both good baits for kingies, everything, bream, grunter. So check out the bank here. It's full of king salmon marks, like hundreds of marks punched up in the mud. So they've been feeding here on the top of the tide. They're fresh too, fresh marks. And what the kingies do, they tend to punch into the mud, get the whiskers out, chase the prawn, chase the crabs, any little crustacean that are in there. That's why they're feeding up on here. This big slide here is just about probably 1.5 metre crocodile just slid into the water. So he's sitting up here basking in the sun. So they're the things you've got to watch out for when you're up here as well. Don't be go swimming in the water up here or dangling your feet over the edge. Take care. So yeah. Today we've got some nice threadies. Going to just kept a couple for a feed. That's all you need. A good thready like this will feed a whole family. So I only take just what we need for a feed. What I'm going to explain to you is those dent marks I was showing you in the previous video is how they feed. And what they do is they've got a really hard, solid nose here, and they've got mad pectoral fins, and they've got sensors in the pectoral fins that they pick up. They're like basically like hands and fingers. They maraud schools of mullet, prawns, even crabs and shrimps and things like that. So what they do is they smack their nose into the mud, and then all those shrimps, prawns, crabs will come out of there, and then they maraud them with their whiskers, feel what they are, then they inhale them. So they'll keep going like that through the mud banks, and that's where you get that dent mark from that solid nose of theirs. So yeah, that's how they feed. So if you see them dent marks up in the shallows, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll get up there a couple hours before the top of the tide, and you can, a few different techniques, you can float prawns, you can put really lightweighted live baits up on the flats, and that's how you chase your threadies. So just a couple little techniques for you to try. Okay, that's the treble rig we were talking about. So there's your 3 prawn. See how they're flicking? So what they'll do is they'll flick against each other. They've got the float, and the float will stop up to the stopper, and hopefully we'll get ourselves a thready. So here we go. Today I'm just using, I've got a little 10 pound outfit here. I've got some 40 pound fluorocarbon leader. Fluorocarbon is good, it's near invisible. So a lot of times fish can't see it unless it's a different angle. It's a personal preference. A lot of people like using swivels, but I just prefer running sinker straight to my hook. Just gives that fish a bit of mobility and lets him swim around, does whatever he wants to do. 6.0 Shinto octopus hook. There's heaps of different hooks on the market you can use. I just use this because I do not let my fish run. You can let your fish run, like a lot of people use bait runners. I used to use them years and years ago. I've just found this a bit more productive, so I just preset my drag so the fish can just take a little bit of line off me, sets a hook, and that's just how I chase kingies and barra. So that sinker will run straight down on top of there. So when you throw that livey out, he's got the free run. There's no swivel, nothing stopping him. I tie a nice little FG knot there, so my sinker can run past that knot, and he can run free to wherever he wants to run up and down the creek. So that's just, like I said, there's no wrong or right. That's just how I run my runner sinker rig with live baits. So with live baiting, what I tend to do is there's heaps of different ways you can nose hook them, which is a great way of hooking them. You can back hook them to there, anywhere along the body, which will work fine. But what I tend to find is that I hook them down the bottom end because that's where their tail is, so they tend to work and swim a lot harder, so your bait's working a lot harder for you. Like I said, there's no wrong or right. You'll catch fish anywhere putting your hook in wherever you like. But another thing I do too is I don't tend to put my hook in here and bring it out the side like so. I'll show you. Reason being is like your sinker lays down. So what happens, your hook lays down like this, and I do hear a lot of people say, you know, your barra pick your bait up or your kingies pick your bait up and run with it. It can't hook up because it's not, you know, your hook's laying sort of parallel to the body. So a lot of times your hook's not in the right position. So how I run it is I run my hook through the back of the bait like this, scale it a bit, come back out through the other side, and then your hook's proud of the, and that's where your sinker is. So to me, like, there's no wrong or right. You will hook up anyway, but that there just gives you a better hook up rate if you're chasing king and barra. So that's just a little something you can try. But try all your different options because there's no wrong or right. That's just the way I hook them. Right, nice little kingy caught on live mullet. There's a few kingies here, a lot of bull sharks, but yeah, we'll let this follow back in the water, and we'll find it for another day.